course and pass the course. Then you have to prepare for the state and national exam. And then you get to the of doing real estate. And each one of them, there's a process and there's challenges with them. And, you lose people. You lose people that don't make it through the course. You lose people that don't, get through the actual testing, passing the test. And then, when people actually get their license and they realize all the fees and different things that it takes and the effort that it takes. I mean, it really, it's not one of those, it's not a job, it's not one of those things where you sit back and business comes to you. You got to hustle for it. You got to hunt for your food over here. And when people realize that, we lose a lot of people from that standpoint as well.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's one of those things when most people don't know, and some do. I have a real estate background. When I came home from the military in '96, I went straight into real estate. And from '96 to 2008, that's what I did. And, me personally, I knew at that time that it was crazy, a crazy industry then, it's crazy industry now. But, the average real estate person who had a license sold less than a house a year. And so, like you said, that goes to a credit what you just said. Now, the one thing that I did do, with my mentor, I went from becoming a real estate agent to a person who's a business person who did real estate and made a lot of money in it. And the thing about business today that I know about real estate agents is that you're only as good as your last transaction. You're only as good as the last house you sold. And so between those homes and those sales, you have to, find other pockets of revenue to come in. And referrals are real big, in this industry when it comes to, extra money. And so when you look at those referrals from a real estate perspective, can you give some examples of some of the companies that you guys, or some of the industries and professions that you guys refer out to the homeowners?
Yeah, I've had a relationship with a security company that I've worked with for probably about 7 years. I've had off and on relationships in like in the water filtration space. Recently, probably as of like 2 years ago, I was able to sign up with a company on the solar space just as an affiliate. And the beauty of all of these was it was literally an introduction that I had to make of the client to the professional and let them connect and let the professional, take it from there.
Yeah. And so right now, I actually launched a campaign. It's called CASHFLOW Collaborations and Careers, and that's the thing. Right now, I'm on tour, making sure that all the realtors that are out there, especially realtors, we deal with everybody from realtors, roofers, electricians, plumbers. It doesn't matter if you are in the home service, home solutions, or home essentials arena. You can actually, partner with us and collaborate with us and bring more and bigger referrals onto your accounts and your bottom lines. And so, going back to the solar thing, though, right now there are a lot of realtors out there who have, misconceptions about solar, and hangups about solar that they never even experienced themselves. And so it's just by hearsay, most cases. Can you address some of those for me?
Yeah, I would say that just within the last year, prior to getting the knowledge, I was one of those that had the misconceptions in regards to it. And I think it comes down to as an agent, when you're selling a home with solar, there's challenges that come with that. But I think a part of those challenges are coming down to the agent not knowing how to approach selling solar. So I think it's almost a mindset that they take into it, because I can tell you I did, of looking at the solar as a liability versus an asset. And when that shift happened for me, it was a game changer just in regards to how I'm able to now, move properties with solar. But, that was probably the biggest, thinking it's a liability. You have solar that is completely paid off versus solar that is leased. And again, obviously solar that's paid off, has definitely, strong value. But even, and I always looked at it as, okay, if there's a lease, I got to be able to get that lease sold to the buyer as well. And so I looked at it as a challenge. And now again, I see the value of whether it's, paid off, whether it's a lease, and it can be transferred, of how it's going to benefit that buyer.
Mhm. Now, when you look at what you just said, I mean, when you talk about, people who, and me, I have this thing is people reject what they don't understand. And so they automatically get on the defensive and they automatically find reasons why things won't work, and so, but it's the people like yourself who, are proactive, and you took a proactive step by getting the green designation. Explain the designation and really why other realtors should get it as well.
Yeah, for me, it came down to, once I really started to look at solar and understanding the deregulation of energy, and realizing that when you have the federal government involved in promoting a product or a service, and that product or service is not, has not been circulated to the masses yet, that spells huge opportunity. So for me, and it's also the writings on the wall, because when you talk about the dirty grid and power failures that we have during storms, and how solar is that the remedy, all of those things back to Blockbuster and Netflix. And if you say Blockbuster to, I don't know, maybe a 15-year-old, they have no idea what you're talking about. So I saw that opportunity, and then so for me, it became, okay, I need to, stop pushing away from solar, and really embrace it and learn to understand it. And as a realtor, I said, okay, the best way for me to do that is go out, get this green designation, and really just entrench myself into understanding home efficiency, and the future of where we're going in the industry. And that's one thing that, we can all say with all industries right now. They're progressing into a future that, if you try to stay in the present and not advance with what's coming, you're going to get left behind. And I saw that from the solar aspect. And when I realized in Colorado, there's about 30 agents that have a green designation, once again, it spelled huge opportunity there.
Yeah. It's 30 agents. How many agents are in Colorado?
29,000.
That's a lot of money, man.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and that's getting in front of it. Timing is everything. And you and I were in a company together, and we actually took an industry, exploded it. Everybody laughed at us, because we were doing it, but we ended up making millions of dollars. And now, if you look, here it is, 20 years, almost 20 years later, 15, 20 years later, now everybody's doing what we were doing. And so
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's about, recognizing, what's going on. And there's a lot of science out there that's telling people you should go solar anyway. Regardless to who's bringing it to you, when you look at just the government itself, you look at who the president put in office, he brought Elon Musk along for the ride, and that's obviously for his solar and clean energy expertise. You're talking about what he's done in California and what's about to be duplicated all over the United States of America. It's ridiculous. Like right now, you literally can't build a house in California unless you build it with solar. It's against the law. And so when you look at, everybody who has an electric bill or utility bill right now, you're already paying for solar anyway, right? If you look at your bill, there's something on it and it's miscellaneous. It says clean energy project or something along that line. It may be just $1, but when you look at these companies who have 3 million, 4 million customers, that's 3 million, $4 million a month that they're taking to use to pay for their solar farms. And now they're taking the energy from solar farms and they're giving it to you, servicing your homes with it, but they're still charging you fossil fuel rates. So it's a big scam right now going on when it comes to, utility and what people don't understand. That's why you got to educate yourself. But uh, what really motivated you though, now to get into solar though? I know you dabbled in it. You was an affiliate in a company before. What was it, that made you want to just dive in this thing and take full advantage of it?
Two things. Like I said, the writing was on the wall in regards to the direction that everything is going. And because it is really an untapped market at this point. So it's a ground floor opportunity now, and probably honestly for the next 5, 6, 10 years, as it continues to grow, is just a perfect opportunity. But I saw right now to be able to seize the moment. And on top of being a real estate agent, the other thing that I saw, solar just kept coming back to me. I have a house right now that's on the market that has solar panels. I have one coming up in February. It's in a solar community, and that was the big thing that jumped out at me is when I realized home builders now it's not required here yet, it will be, but home builders are building entire communities that every home has solar. And so when you're starting to see that, again, the writing was on the wall, and it meant, okay, if I want to sell in that neighborhood, I need to know how to sell solar in those areas. And then on top of that, it was one of those opportunities. I have a lot of clients that are not in those types of communities that need to understand the benefits of solar. And it gives me, again, the opportunity. I helped someone to purchase their biggest investment, and now I can help them to feed energy to it, on the electric side of things, and they own their energy. So it's a different way of, for homeowners to start looking at, how they take care of that biggest investment.
Yeah, and you really are taking care of them because you're putting them with the best company, most affordable company, and most reliable company. So that's amazing. It's crazy when you look at the homeowners and you look at the benefits that the government is giving out right now for them to go solar. And most people don't know why the benefits are here. Like that 30% tax deduction was gone. They brought that back about 3 years ago for 10 years. And the grids, we only have three grids: East Coast, West Coast, South Coast. And if we have an attack on any one of those grids, it's a wrap. Everything shuts down, and we are now immobilized as a country. And so and the U.S. is getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day, which means that more and more homes are going on that grid. And when you actually now have, Elon pushing solar for the government, saying, "Hey, look, you need to go solar," and then you have 497 million searches, 497,000 searches last week were done for people who are looking to buy solar. Those are signs. Right. And so going back to what you said, though, that the biggest investment that people make is their house. And people should buy their energy like they buy their house. They should buy their energy to own, not to lease. Like you wouldn't lease a house for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, never to own it. It becomes an asset after ownership. And when you look at the electricity, it's the same thing. When you have, a bill that's locked and never to increase and one day to go away, that's extreme value, for a home. A person who, let's say, is about to buy a house, and Barry, I buy your house and your house has, solar on it already. And when I come in, all I have is a mortgage, because the energy is already paid for. It's like literally all I have is one thing, that's the mortgage, and a connection fee of $4 to $7 to the electric company. That's a win-win situation, right? And so people don't see, the whole entire, value of it, and that's because they haven't been educated about it. So, but let me ask you this question: since becoming a part of the Build Network and obtaining your green certification, how has your perspective evolved on solar?
Yeah, it's definitely opened up where, like I said, now I speak about solar as an asset. And, I think every year that passes, we're going to talk more and more about how, again, someone in the neighborhood is going to be the oddball that does not have solar,
Mhm.
and they're going to notice that the value on their house is less because of all the houses in the area that do have solar. And like I said, when you go into these solar communities, that's something that the conversation that agents, when they're negotiating on the property, they're doing that. And again, I think with having the green designation, it's easier for me to tell an agent, do you understand that your energy for your electricity is $130 today, is going to be $130 and until you pay it off. But let's say it's 10 years, let's say it's 15 years, but your energy bill through Excel or whatever energy company you're getting it through is going to continue to go up. They just had a story with our energy company here in the Colorado area. talking about increases for this year. Well, guess what? They're going to have that same conversation next year and the year after, because they've had that every year since I've been in Colorado, because energy is always increasing.
Mhm. Yeah, and we had some things going on here in Houston, as you're well aware of. We had our last storm and knocked everything out, and 3 million homes here in Texas lost energy. And the energy stayed off for a lot longer than it was supposed to. Like, they had the ability to bring the energy back up and get everything running again, but they wanted to make a statement as an energy company because earlier in the year, they asked for rate increase, and it was drastic. When I say drastic, it was unimaginable and unnecessary. It was just greed, and they approved the city of Houston approved I think it was 50% of that increase, and they wasn't happy with that. Like, you're getting more money, you're getting a bigger increase, period. But you wasn't happy about it. So when the hurricane hit and everything shut down, they basically sat down and they just said, well, we'll let them suffer. And we had people lose their lives because they didn't have electricity to take care of themselves and power up their life-saving devices. And you had people who were forced to go and spend $300 a night at hotels that they would normally pay $79 a night in. And so even my wife and I, we had to move our family to an Airbnb, and but we actually have solar now because we were, already in the process of waiting for our install date that the hurricane hit us first. But, we got that battery. And so if the hurricane comes back, or any hurricane, when it comes back, not if, I'm in Texas, so in Houston, so it will come back. When they come back, we'll be ready. But man, it's when you look at, people who are considering solar and they're unsure about solar, what advice do you have for them?
I think number one, get your information from the right people. We have solar pros or solar mentors within our organization. One that I've had the opportunity to listen to him do a presentation, Idris, and again, it's not salesy. It's informational, and you can make an educated decision. I think a lot of us have been getting our information maybe from our realtor who has no idea really, about solar, or we're getting it from, a coworker who's not in the solar space. So getting the information from the right place so you can make an educated decision, I would say, is definitely the most important. And when you listen and you understand, the savings that you will have, and really kind of, I like to look at it as taking ownership. Just like I know so many people that the pride of home ownership is very important to them, but we never think about owning our own energy. And in essence, when the just like what you were saying, the energy company wanted to make a point. All right, so it's almost like in essence they're holding you hostage to a certain degree, and when they're telling you, they're on the news saying, hey, we're going to raise the energy, they're just it's not like they're telling you so you can make a different decision, because they're the only act in town in most cases.
Yeah.
They're just getting you prepared that you're going to have to pay more. But now you can take things into your own hand when you own your own energy.
Yeah, man. This the power when you realize that another thing, I'm gonna go back. This is from a business perspective for all my numbers people. Remember that 30% tax credit, right? That you get for going solar. But when you don't go solar and you actually when you don't go solar and you actually sit there and pay that dollar to $2 a month to the electricity company and utility companies, guess what? They get that tax credit that you don't get.
Mm.
So when you don't get it, somebody's getting it. The utility company is getting it. It's making them more money. See, the rich get richer, not because, you know, they're smarter. They have access to better information, true enough, but it's because they're more courageous. It's because they take more risks. They go out there and they get the information. They don't let, people make decisions for them. They go get the right information and they make the actual decisions. And so that's one thing. Another thing is when I look at, you know, uh, the inflation situation. You have a lot of people right now who, if you just think back 5 years ago, and what your energy bill used to be. And you come back and say, okay, it's 5 years later, what it is now. You know, this is not just natural inflation, guys, because of the economy. Remember, there's something unnatural that increases your bill as well. And every time a hurricane happens and a power line comes down or something happens that they have to do a repair on, guys, that comes out of your pocket. You pay for that. You take the hit for that. So guess what? When a person goes solar, for every person that goes solar, the people who don't go solar, your bills increase, right? Because now you're taking the brunt and you're the one left holding the bag because you're either too proud to get the information, too scared to get the information, or you're just too stuck in your ways. But I'm gonna just tell you right now, not going solar is a bad business decision and a bad personal decision. Okay, so when it comes also just when it comes to the things that were wrong with solar back in the day that some realtors were afraid of is like they thought that you can actually put a lien on somebody's house, when it comes to, a solar system not being paid off. Now, the PACE program and the HERO program, those lending programs, they did. Matter of fact, they didn't even qualify you credit wise because they knew if you had a house, they could just lend your house to get their money back. Well, we don't do any type of lending like that. For me, it's like predatory lending, personally, in my own personal opinion. But we don't do lending like that. Okay. And most companies don't do lending like that anymore because again, it runs people away. It will cost them money. So on the back end of that as well, a when you look at a solar system, guys, a solar system loan and a mortgage loan are two totally different loans. Most people don't know that. So if you want to sell your house, right, and the system is not paid off and they don't want to buy it, which 9 times out of 10 they will buy it based on the realtor you have. But let's just say, playing devil's advocate, they don't want to buy the solar system. That's fine. Well, what the solar system company is going to do is they're going to just turn it off. Okay. It can't stop the sale of a house because it's not tied to it. It's just tied to the roof. It's not tied to the sale. So just want to share that with you as well. So, but anything else solar, anything else realtor, related, home solutions, home essentials, home service related that you want to drop any nuggets on anybody before we get out of here.
Yeah, and I think as realtors, we have to stop looking at ourselves as solely as a real estate agent and that we buy and sell houses. I looked at, I started viewing my real estate business like a broker owner
Mm-hmm.
about 3, 4 years ago and realizing that it wasn't just about the production side of me going out and finding clients and buying and selling houses. And that's why, I've grown this organization, with 114 agents. And of those, I got like 7 teams. So in essence, I run my own brokerage on the real estate side. And then when the solar opportunity, particularly with Build, because there's other opportunities in there, I saw another division of real estate that has nothing to do with the sale of houses, but everything to do with the essential services of houses that could be an additional revenue stream. And again, from our background in the network marketing space, multiple revenue streams is that you're talking dirty to us right there. And when you can do that from a standpoint of from a real estate standpoint, it just makes even more sense. And it's almost they run fluidly together, because again, I can have a homeowner, they purchase a home, and then I share the opportunity for them to own their energy, get better water quality coming into their home with a water filtration system, secure their home with a security system. Those are all different avenues that I'm able to now tap into. And I share with some of my agents that maybe they're not closing as many deals as they would like, to look at this opportunity as something that it can generate income like right away. I had a security company where I was selling 2 systems a day, door knocking, and this was while I was a police officer. And I was getting paid on that, not in 30 days, 35 days, what it takes to get a close on a house, But in about 10 days, 14 days, I was seeing money come in on that, and showing the agents, that are working with me, how to be able to create this other revenue stream that starts to create income very quickly. And then they're also building a relationship and a rapport with some of those new clients that they're picking up that will ultimately likely become their real estate clients down the road. So like I said, they just work hand in hand with one another.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's like, and back in the day when I first got into real estate, and I got, back in '96. My goal was to have a real estate conglomerate, like you one-stop shop in everything real estate. And at that time, I had a loss mitigation company, a real estate company, obviously, a mortgage partnership that was in office and everything before the bubble burst on us. And I told my wife, I'm looking at this thing the other day. I said, today I still have exactly what I dreamed about having, those years ago, because it's still home essentials. It's still servicing, people in the home arena. And, I was just talking to some people in Denver when we were having cocktails, after our event on Saturday, and just happened to run into some owners of a flooring company. And I said, look, we need to have a conversation. We had lunch the next day, and I talked to them about how now they can, one, expand outside of Denver and do business in, you know, 38 more states for solar, 50 states for water and security. But, how to just go ahead and expand their ecosystem by basically just adopting ours. And so it's like a plug and play type situation. You don't have to have solar geniuses. You don't have to have solar salespeople. You don't have to have water salespeople. You don't have to have any of that stuff. All you have to do, as a person who are in the real estate arena, a plumber, a engineer, an electrician, a contractor, it doesn't matter who you are. All of you have past clients that you get a chance to go back to and say, hey, I just opened up my solar division. Okay. Now I'm not the solar pro, so I'm not going to be answering any of your questions. I have people for that, but I want to make sure you're taken care of, because a lot of people out there who are going solar are not getting a good deal. Okay. And I want to make sure you do, and then keep it real simple. Yeah. And so think about the commissions on solar as well. So when you look at real estate agents, they love big commissions, right? And so the average commission for a solar pro is $6,000 to $10,000. Imagine going back to, thousands of your past clients, whether it be your flooring clients or your landscaping clients or your pool service clients or your home interior decorating clients, all these people who deal with people who have roofs over their head, and have that real quick conversation. And at the end of that conversation, when somebody does the heavy lifting for you, you end up with $6,000, $10,000, $5,000 for work that you've already done. Remember, you did the hard work by building up the rapport and perfecting your brand along the way. Now it's time for you to allow your brand to actually pay you. Okay. And so that's where it's at, guys. Remember, I tell people all the time, when you're a seven-figure earner, your first, million was made on your blood, sweat, and tears, those long hours, burn the midnight oil. Your second, million is made off the brand and made off of your resume and what you did the first time. And so a lot of you guys have stellar resumes, but you have small thinking. Okay. And so there's a book out there, 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell. The very first chapter in that book is the law of the lid. The reason why most people make 250,000 but can't make a half a million a year is because they have a lid on their thinking. Some people make a $500,000 a year, can't make a million a year, is because they have a lid on their thinking, right? And so, guys, you know, get with, the people who brought you on to this conversation, introduce you to this conversation. Get some questions answered. Be curious. Rich people are very curious people. They ask a lot of questions. And I do believe that in life, you end up in direct proportion to the quality of questions that you ask the people around you and the quality of questions that you ask yourself. And so from I see a lot of things also before we wrap up, Barry. There are a lot of realtors who obviously understand that social media is the way, and a lot of them are on social media doing everything, videos here, videos there. They're trying to be influencers, so they can build up an audience that they can sell to. Well, while you're looking for 4,000 likes, let me share some with you. I can actually go and partner with a roofer who has 4,000 past clients. Okay. And those 4,000 past clients, when he comes on and he gets his 5,000, 6,000, $10,000 a deal for everybody he goes back to and gives them the benefits of going solar, I'll get 500, 600, $1,000 per transaction, not likes. Okay. And so this is where I need you to think more expansive. I need you guys to open up your minds and see, that this is a newer way of doing business and you really want to plug into us. But um, anything else on the way out there? And first of all, I appreciate the time, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing your expertise because a lot of people need to hear this information. But, we got any parting shots before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think you definitely mentioned about that partnership with a solar mentor. And so I sell houses. I don't have to learn to sell solar if I don't want to. I'm simply making an introduction. And if I'm making, $3,000, $4,000 for an introduction, I'm probably spending an hour, maybe 2 hours of my time through that whole process. And I'm all about the hourly rate, so a four-figure hourly rate, attorneys don't do that,
Right.
so that's definitely, something that you have to take into account when you're looking at this as an agent, as a mortgage broker, insurance agent, whatever the case may be. You know people that you've helped them before, and you want to continue to be helpful to them. And solar is just one of those areas that you can find to be, of service to others.
Mhm. And the access to it is so easy, man. As we wrap up, guys, I have people from like Bear said that couldn't get their license for a lot of different reasons in insurance, real estate, mortgages. They're not allowed to participate based on restrictions or based on them not being able to pass a test, right? And those restrictions don't fall on us, right? And so again, it's a plug and play situation. People get in and they start earning right away. I had a guy in the month of April last year, 28 deals as a mentor, made over 100 grand, right? And I have people who are making deals who never sold anything at all, and it's because they're just making an introduction, like Barry said. They're not complicating it. They're not getting in their way. They're just coming in, learning a couple of things to say, and then they're moving along. So. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys, investing a little bit of your lunchtime with us. Hopefully you guys got fed. Again, thanks to our esteemed colleague and guest here out of Denver, Colorado, Mr. Barry Overton, man. You're a gem. Appreciate you, bro. Look forward to doing big, big things with you. And hey,
Absolutely.
let's go forward. Let's go powerful. Let's go prosper. Y'all have a good one.
All right, thank you.